Welcome in, everybody. We are Offensive Points, and tonight we're going to talk the NFC South. Hit it. I wanted to soften you guys up, Possums, because now I'm going to be real excited going into this. Again, we are Offensive Points, brought to you by the Fantasy Six Pack, and tonight we are talking the NFC South, full of fantasy football league winners, in my opinion. As always, I'm with my homies, Josh and Billy. Josh and Billy, what is up?
Hey, man, anyone can be a league winner, you know? I mean, say anyone. Any wide receiver 1 or 2 or running back 1 or 2 could be a league winner. You never know. Maybe a 3.
Jahan Dotson, league winner.
All right, so let's calm down. I don't even. Well,
Definitely possible. This is going to be the most competitive division. I think the overall win numbers are like lower than I would expect. Like I know they're going to beat each other up a lot, but like I think all of these teams are going to be competitive in one way, shape, or another. And so like I feel like there's a lot of discount in the win loss here. But this is an interesting division to get going here. So. We're going to start out with the Falcons, and it's for one reason and one reason only, and that is Mr. Bijan Robinson. He is pretty much the consensus 101. I don't know how much time we have to spend on this, but I do feel like we need to reiterate going into draft season. Maybe people have taken, a long winter's rest after last season and aren't caught up on the new thing, but Bijan 101 is going 101, and I don't think anybody in this panel is going to push back on that. But what do you guys think? Is Bijan the 101 in this draft class?
I think you could make the conversation for Gibbs, and I feel like the reason is, and it sounds like Joe and I were going to say the exact same thing. We should have just talked at the same time, talked over. But I mean, you could make the conversation for Gibbs because Gibbs and Bijan are both were elite last year and will continue to be elite this year. But they both had their running back 2 vacated and replaced by either no one for Bijan or someone who hasn't had much success lately in Pacheco for Gibbs. So I can see the conversation for either one, but I think at the end of the day, Bijan Robinson's just that stereotypical, prototypical running back who is just a big bruiser and has speed and can catch the ball and does catch the ball. So, I mean, Gibbs obviously does all those things and is a little smaller, and it's like, it doesn't matter. Like, he's still number 2, It's not anything against Gibbs, but I think if I had the 101, I'm taking Bijan with no questions asked.
Yeah. You can't go wrong with either of those guys. I agree 100%. Bijan is an absolute stud. Now, I do have to say something. I have talked a lot of crap about Brian Robinson Jr. Throughout the year, and it is shocking how San Francisco just didn't find any way to use him last year. I know McCaffrey had an awesome season, but I do think Brian Robinson is actually an upgrade over Tyler Algier in this backfield, and I could see him playing kind of a similar role that we saw Tyler Algier play. So I know a lot of people are like, oh, wheels up, dude. Algier's out of there. It'll be great. I think Brian Robinson's actually going to be a factor, not in a fantasy way, but could vulture a couple touchdowns from our guy. But still, Bijan Robinson is, in my opinion, the 101 or the 101A to 101B. Gibbs.
I think Brian complements better than Algier did. Algier was basically just Bijan light, right? Like, he did the same thing, had the same skill set. Brian Robinson has a completely different, like, bulldozer mindset. Like, that is his only goal. Yeah. And as much as we hated on him in Washington, it was mainly because we were just like, why are you not using Antonio Gibson, who was clearly good last year, and Brian was clearly not great his rookie year. And yes, whatever, all the field off the field antics that happened. But I feel like Brian, at the end of the day, like, will parlay what Bijan does. So I don't think it'll really hurt Bijan's stock. And then, obviously for the Gibbs Pacheco conversation, like, it's the same concept. Like, I don't think it's taking anything away at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do feel like we need to make a PSA, just a bright, bold letters going into drafts. Your sticker sheet is going to have 2 Falcons with the B. Robinson. Let's all be on the same page going into it. I know we're going to see 100 TikToks, Instagram videos of one dumbass person in your league that's going to make the mistake, but just don't let it be you. I mean, I feel like if we start this sooner rather than later, we could get ahead of it.
At the same time, your league mates should be better than that. You know who I'm drafting 101. I'm not taking Brian Robinson. I feel like at the end of the day,
luckily there's a junior in there.
Oh,
luckily.
Helps.
Like, thank God, because literally they are the same names. Like, same.
I'm just thinking about our home league back in 2013, 2014. Like, if you would have taken Bijan Robinson Jr., we would have been like, "Oh, that's who you fucking took, man. You should have paid attention, loser."
I feel but I don't know though. The 101, I feel like we've done that in the middle rounds where it's like, I don't even know who the mix-ups have happened with, but in the 8th round when you pick the wrong guy, not that big of a deal. Kind of sucks, you could have got him 5 rounds later, but the 101, I feel like no one's gonna be like, you suck, Brian. Back to the back. You got Brian on your team now.
Yeah, it's more just the integrity of the board because you have to rip the sticker off and then you have that weird paper ripped off. But I don't know. I just feel like it needs to be said on this podcast at least that hey, there are 2 guys with the same basic name on the team and they play for the same team. So be very aware sticker wise because it used to be confusing, but at least it's dude, there's a Commanders logo on there that's clearly not Bijan. You're dumb. This one is a little bit more confusing. They just decided to make it that way. All right. Let's get on to the wide receivers here ish. I mean, Drake London is special, and I think that we can all agree that we kind of like him at where he's getting drafted right now. And I do think that he is the one player on this team, wide receiver related, that you can probably trust to have on your team. But is there anything that you guys are excited all about, Dotson, Zaccheaus, Zachariah Branch, who they drafted in the 3rd round, which he's plays a very specific skill set. So, I mean, Stefanski could use him in a different way. Are there any of these other guys other than Drake London, who's the obvious headliner, that you would maybe draft in a later round?
I don't really think for this year. Now, Mooney makes a fun option, because we've seen what he can. Or not Mooney.
Not Mooney. It's Zaccheaus, Dotson, and Zachariah Branch.
The other ex-Bear.
No, yeah, another ex-Bear. So I was thinking Zaccheaus. Zaccheaus makes a fun fact for this year, but who's rostering Zaccheaus in a role? And so I feel like Zachariah Branch is the fun name, but I think it's a year off. I don't think it's this year we see a breakout. It'd be fun if we did, and I don't think you need to pay a high price. He'll probably be a free agent waiver wire at some point. But I just feel like at some point it might happen a little bit, but I just don't think consistency. It's the London, Pitts, and Bijan show at the end of the day. So I don't know if we really add. It's very similar to what the Eagles had been in the past with A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Saquon. It's no one else really had a chance.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I kind of share a brain with you. I mean, I've been kind of going through waves this offseason where I'm kind of excited about Jahan Dotson, and then I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh, Zachariah Branch, they need a deep guy in this offense because, Pitts and London do a lot of their work in the middle of the field and on the sidelines, and I'm like, let's get that. And I really like Zachariah Branch. So, I mean, I don't think I'm drafting him this year, but I agree he's going to be a waiver wire. At some point, Zachariah Branch is going to hit a game, and everyone's going to know his name. But he's kind of been shown out in camp. I'm kind of excited about it, but it would not surprise me if they just use Zaccheaus more. I don't know. It's hard to get excited about any wide receivers here.
There's going to be a couple good games out of Zaccheaus. There's going to be a couple 5 for 102 games. You're not going to know when they are, so you won't actually have probably played him in those roles. But I don't know. I'm thinking about taking Branch with one of my last picks in drafts just to kind of stash him on the bench because I don't know. I feel like Stefanski is going to get funky this year because while they do kind of have expectations to win, I don't really see the path for them to be a world beater team, but Stefanski's pretty good coach. And I feel like this roster, the bare bones of it at least, are a pretty good one. It's just the around pieces. I don't think that you can trust them at all. We mentioned Kyle Pitts, fresh on a new contract, which I feel like is very good. I think last year when we did this preview, none of us would have guessed that Pitts would be on this team. I would have never guessed he would have signed back with the Falcons after all these years. I'd have been like, nope, he's out. He's going to be happier somewhere else. But signs a new contract and he's back. I think we're just going to do it every year with him. I don't know if it's a trustable thing. He's probably better suited as your tight end 2 that you take, but he's not going to get drafted that way. He's not going to get drafted as a tight end 2. But you probably don't want to be the guy that has drafted him as your tight end 1. That's my personal opinion on Pitts. I think it's always going to be that way.
I feel like what you do with Pitts in this draft at least would be like a Pitts and Kittle. Like you get them both in like the 7th and 9th. You get Kittle, who's going to come back. So you're really starting Pitts for the first 3 weeks, hoping that this wasn't just a contract like stat jump. And hopefully we get some consistency from him. Not sure with these quarterbacks if we're going to see consistency, because most of his consistency was from Kirk Cousins. So that's what worries me the most about Kyle Pitts. And I don't know what Tua did like the tight ends. So there's a possibility that hits. So and there's 2 guys. So like, who are you going to throw to if you're a new quarterback coming in, i.e. Tua, who's trying to keep his NFL career going? You're going to throw the 2 best guys on the field. So.
No, for sure. I mean, Stefanski has used tight ends pretty effectively in the past, and Tua, I was just going to bring that up too. Tua loves the tight end, so if Tua is starting, I'm actually fairly high on Kyle Pitts, but I don't know. Overall, man, he picked a great time to have the game of his career and get like 25% of his stats in one game last year, because they parlayed that into a massive contract. So, you just have to – you could do far worse than having Kyle Pitts as your tight end 1. I kind of agree with you. I'm not super thrilled about it, but it's a name, and I think a lot of people are going to draft him higher than I'm comfortable taking him, so you can have him.
Yeah, I think you just need a solid backup option, or like Josh said, like a Kittle situation where you can have a guy that like the ceiling is way higher, but injuries, that kind of thing might hold him back. Let's just book in the offense with the quarterback discussion. I think this team would be better served throwing Tua out there. I know that they want to develop Penix, but like he's just broken, and it's going to eventually, like, it's like the car that you don't want to give up on, because you're just like, man, I have so much invested in this, like I can't give up on it now. But like, the mirror has gone down, your tires looking a little funky, like the alignment's off, like that. You just need to you need to go with a better option, and Penix is just not made to last forever. I just don't believe that Stefanski's going to want this kid to be the future. And I think he'd rather just have Tua out there and have a better chance to win right away.
Well, Tua's also got kind of a blown head gasket going on, so if we're going to stick with the car analogies.
Yeah, I guess that's true. That's true.
It's kind of like 2 cars that like you're like,
more of an engine problem.
One of them needs to get me to work today, and I don't know which one I'm going to choose. The one with the bad tires or the bad head gasket. Maybe I won't overheat this time. I like the car.
I don't have anything. Obviously. I love the car now. I don't have anything to add on the quarterbacks. I hope Tua starts, but I'm not drafting either one of these guys. So.
No, I just like fantasy relevance is pretty much dead in the water except for Superflex,
for sure.
Which
maybe
both
Tua
are worth rostering.
Maybe Tua
and
is
Superflex both are worth rostering, because you could get Penix
true.
for super late or Tua for super late, whoever like isn't the starter, and they're gonna both start at some point throughout the year. So
I know what sucks is they really can't go in the preseason game either, because you're just like, well, they're one hit away, and it's some dumbass who's not even gonna be on the team is not gonna be the one to take him out. So like, you definitely don't want to push him that hard, but I don't know. I just like I've seen enough of Penix. He was solid in college, and I thought maybe he could work in the NFL. It just doesn't look like it. I don't know.
No.
I don't know. The fact that like I think Shuck is better than Penix is not great, because I'm not that big of a fan of Shuck. But like the future looks brighter there than their 7th pick in the draft, which was bananas when it happened, and it's bananas now. All right.
Do we see Trevor Siemian this year?
Probably. I mean, I'm just being dead serious. Probably.
I joked about seeing the 2 of them start no matter what. We could probably go ahead and book a third at some point, maybe for a game.
No kidding. I would just keep getting quarterbacks just in case each and every time.
On a slightly optimistic note, like, wouldn't it be cool if like either one of these guys, I'd say Tua just because he's had success already, like, wouldn't it be great to see a resurgence from Tua, and like what tools to have around you, as like this is the best tools he's had since Tyreek Hill first got there. So
that's true.
The early Devon Etienne days type situation, like he's got Bijan, he's got the number 1 running back, he's got a top 10 wide receiver and a top 10 tight end. Like, I don't think he's really ever even had that. I mean, Waddle was never even a top 10 anything at least with Hill. It could be fun. Like, once again, I'm talking for more like, it'd be cool if it happened. I'm not saying go draft these guys.
Yeah, their O-line is a little, I would say, better than Miami's has been. So, like, going in, I already feel a little bit better for Tua, that maybe he doesn't have to take as many hits. It's not top of the league good, but it's probably better than the Dolphins.
How's the right tackle? That's what really matters.
Jawan
Well,
Taylor.
it's Jawan Taylor, who is the what is he, not offsides, but he always gets those penalties for the Chiefs. False start king. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, we'll see.
I mean, that's fine. A false start's fine, but not getting hit in the back with one of those guys. But I will say, I just love a lefty quarterback, and these are like, they got both of them. So like, what a build at the end of the day. Like, if that's how they're going to build this roster with left out routes and stuff, you know.
That's true. Moving quickly to the defense. Okay.
Real quick. If Tua starts, I think Zachariah Branch could finish as a top 40 receiver because he throws a nice deep ball.
That's totally true. That is 100% true. I could see that. Even I feel like you could get him involved in like crossing routes too, like kind of what they were doing, a light version of Tyreek Hill. He's not Tyreek Hill, but just how he was being used with Miami. I feel like you could get Branch going a little bit in that direction. I don't hate that.
The problem is, did Tua throw a good deep ball, or was Tyreek Hill just really good at coming back to the ball?
That's something we'll find out.
Comeback routes.
If we're being honest,
I don't personally.
We're gonna find out.
I'm basing that on year like 1 and 2 of Jalen Waddle. Back when they were on the same wavelength, when Tua got knocked out, they seemed to forget how to throw the pass.
I can understand not being able to hit Tyreek Hill too. Like, he's stupid fast, but like his comeback ability was just so amazing. I say it's like he's gone. He's still playing technically, probably. But it's one of those things where I'm like, I don't know. Like, is he actually a good deep ball thrower? Because like he couldn't hit Tyreek Hill once on a deep ball. It was always a comeback route for him on a deep ball, which is a unique route, Drew, to say the least.
Yeah, I don't know how much of that was that dumbass offense that Mike McDaniel was trying to run at the end of their tenure together, or what? Because it went from all downfield to like, hey, we're just going to throw it short. It kind of turned into a Matt Nagy offense. Like, let's throw it short and let these guys work in the open field.
The other option is he clearly didn't trust the players he was putting out there. It just wasn't like when he first got there, you kind of saw the vision, and then throwing out guys that like it's like, okay, I don't think this is going to work with what we have, but.
Well, when you also lose your starting quarterback multiple times, it's hard, dude. At all, like to give Mike McDaniel some grace here, just the one time.
You know what? I appreciate you doing that. Let's move to the defense real quick. We can get through it pretty quick, unless you guys are really excited about them. But I feel like the secondary, I kind of like their the build of that for tackles. So if you're going to go after the Billy Bowmans, the Terrells, the Watts, the Jesse Bates, like I do kind of like that for the upside there. But linebacker, defensive end, like it's kind of question marks. Like I like James Pierce. I don't love James Pierce, like being out there. Like
I actually do love James Pierce on the field. His off the field shenanigans is not great at all.
Dude, James Pierce had some monster games going on last year.
He did.
He actually almost made that trade worthwhile. Like he was that close.
That's true.
Like, yeah, man. I see that. True. I see why they did it. And to be fair, as a rookie, so he could have a huge year, assuming that he plays and doesn't have any looming suspensions. He's a freak athlete for sure.
He's got to get suspended for something. I don't know. I mean, it's probably only going to be one game
on camera.
Just something. There's got to be something. I just can't imagine them getting off scot-free there. But Jalen Walker also had a pretty solid year, I would say. I've had him rostered in quite a few leagues, and I felt like he was worthwhile.
This defense over the last few years has gotten like to be like, I don't want to say elite, but like in the
better.
Works.
It's better. I don't know about great or anything. But
well, it was the worst it was the Cincinnati Bengals like 5 years ago. And so seeing this now, obviously, there's still some pieces. There's no like star value, essentially. I mean, you got some young guys who could be those stars. But like for where they were, man, it was bad. Like the late Matt Ryan days was just the same as the Dallas Cowboys last year.
That's true.
My favorite IDP guy from last year, Caden Ellis, is now playing on the Saints. So, I mean, Divine Deablo could have his first, like, true starting role that he's had in his career, which would be cool. But they also got Christian Harris over. One of those guys is going to play a very valuable role. My money is on Deablo, but I don't know. Someone to keep an eye on.
Solid in a, like, support role, too.
Yeah. It's just he's always LB2. Like, can we get an LB1 for him? Can we get a green dot season for him, please?
Right. That is true. Okay. Saints over under, not Saints over under. The Falcons over under 6.5.
The Falcons over under is 6.5, and Joe is being slow about pulling up the schedule.
I'll just go ahead and say that I think I'm assuming they're all pretty low because this division's pretty wild. But like 6.5 seems extraordinarily low for the talent on this team.
I agree. I agree completely. I think that's going to be a pattern for me in this whole division, but we'll see.
They all end up winning with like 7 wins, though. So
yeah, I guess that's going to be it.
They got Steelers, Panthers, Green Bay, Saints, Ravens, Bears, 49ers, Buccaneers, Bengals, Kansas City Chiefs, Week 11 bye, Vikings, Lions, Browns, Commanders, Buccaneers, Saints, Panthers.
Never mind. I kind of see why it's
kind of hard.
Yeah, for this conference being the worst conference, win-wise at least. Holy shit!
They got all the best offenses.
They really do. Like I did notice a trend there. By the time we got to the Chiefs, I was like, "Damn!" Yeah, it's like Jesus.
I still think they get 7. I think almost. The problem is, I'm going to go over if anyone's at 6.5 because I feel like all of these teams are going to get 7 wins and they're going to all be jockeying for that like number 1 seed in the last 5 weeks. So I'm going to go over personally, just because I think
I'm going under just because the quarterback situation is going to be Trevor Siemian by the week 11, and I just don't see that winning anything.
Yeah, I'm going to go under because I'm looking at this. I think they can beat the Browns, the Commanders, and the Steelers. I don't think they can beat anybody else.
Well, all the
obviously they're
division games are going to be coin flips.
That's 3 wins, so that puts us at 6 if we do that. So like it's just winning one of those.
Trying to find one more.
The cusp, yeah.
I don't know,
and I think they can. I'm not saying they can go out there and go toe to toe with the Bengals or something, but I think there's the Vikings that could be a dub. I mean, there are plenty of possible games there, and then especially the Commanders, like that could be a dub too. Like I don't know if you said that, but yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna go over. I think this team is, even with the mixed match of quarterbacks, I think there's it's the talents there, and Bijan's gonna win a game, London's gonna win a game, Tua will probably win a game, and their defense will win a game one day. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I mean I don't hate
like your optimism.
I don't know. I just don't know. All right,
team that I secretly like.
Really?
I like the Falcons, man.
I just feel like 4 years ago, Josh would not have said he was a Falcons fan. You're a Falcoholic?
I did have the Vic jersey back in the day, and then the dog thing happened, and I got rid of it.
We're done. Wait, was that Bucks?
It's a tough one to have. Michael Turner. Remember the Michael Turner days?
Monta Freeman.
Roddy
White
was good.
Roddy White was like my
favorite.
They've
had just fun players.
Roddy White was fun.
Calvin Ridley, man. Calvin Ridley started his career.
Yeah, that's true. Ridley before
they are good at developing or drafting wide receivers. How do you look at it?
True.
They're just always at the top of the draft.
That's also true. But they do know the right ones to take, though. I mean, I do think that is also needs
they
to
hit
be
on
said.
their draft picks most of the time too. I mean, it's not like except for defense, they fail on a lot of defense.
I was about to say defense is a little hit or miss. The quarterback also a little bit hit or miss.
Okay, but they're drafting 2nd and 3rd round quarterbacks. Those are all hit or miss. Like there's no oh yeah. I mean, there's a couple gems that we found in the 2nd round. Obviously, a couple Super Bowl quarterbacks in the past few years, but mostly
they could do with having a high pick this draft. I'm just saying they could definitely. If shit starts hitting the fan in about week 11 or 12, I say we just maybe go for it and get one of these guys at the top. But that's just my opinion. All right, we spent 25 minutes on the Falcons, and I am shocked at us, guys. Cannot believe it. Let's move on to the Saints. Let's go down to New Orleans. Big Easy, where we'll start with Tyler Shuck. I am a Tyler Shuck hater, but I'm being reformed. I will start with saying I have been a hater, and I was a hater going in, but I think that now that I understand that I'm almost positive he's a bridge quarterback, I'm kind of back on board. I don't think he's of the future, but I do think that he can do a lot of good things in the short term of things. So he's going as QB 20 right now in the 12th round. I mean, that's obviously a backup for 1 QB leagues, and that's about right for a super flex draft. But I do think that this team is built for him to have success this season, and the passing game is going to be a major part of that. So the main hitters for the pass catchers are Chris Olave going as wide receiver 11, 24 overall, and Jordan Tyson, wide receiver 36, going to 88 overall. With also Juwan Johnson kind of getting the tight end nod there, but I don't know, kind of need to see a little bit more. But as far as those pass catchers go, like Olave, I'm all the way in. I understand he's one, concussion away probably from certain disaster. However, while he's on the field with Tyler Shuck last season, it was special. And the one thing that the Saints needed to do this offseason was to get a guy to take some of the attention away, and they did that perfectly by going to get Jordan Tyson. Mind you, that's another injury concern that's just walking and waiting to happen, but this is just kind of how they're rolling the dice. I kind of like it. It's a gambler's mentality with their wide receiver room, and I kind of, on some level, can appreciate that. Other wide receivers on this team, Devon Vele, who, they traded for from Denver, Jalen Polk, which I did not know he was on New Orleans, or at least I had forgotten that he was on New Orleans. And then everyone's draft darling, Bryce Lance, is also on his team, Trey Lance's brother. So we'll kind of just see how that goes as well. There is some upside there. He's definitely got to be on your dynasty roster, just in case, because literally, like I said at the beginning, these two wide receivers are injury prone. So these spots can come up and develop and need you to be put in there very quickly. So definitely star them as interested if they don't get drafted in your drafts, because they are probably going to be featured at some point going forward here. They also picked up Noah Fant. I wanted to mention it. I don't think that means a whole lot for fantasy. I still think they're going to give Jawan Johnson the nod. That's why I mentioned it that way. But I do want to mention that he is on the team. Then we'll end up with the running backs. We got Travis Etienne coming over from Jacksonville. I do think he's set to have a really good season. They paid him well enough that where I think even with Alvin Kamara on the roster, I still think you're going to see a lot out of Travis Etienne. And third round is probably where he's going to running back 1847 overall, which is about right. But third, fourth round is where I feel super confident in drafting him. But I also think you should at least maybe take a flyer on Kamara super, super late. He's going as RB48, 146 overall. So basically free at the end of your draft. I do think you need to pick him up, whether he's on this team at the start of the season or he gets moved mid-season to, maybe to link up with Sean Payton once the Dobbins injury inevitably happens. Like maybe that's how we fix this to get him off the team. I do think he needs to be rostered, though. I don't think him just being a glorified backup is the Alvin Kamara way. I don't think so. But overall, this offense, it's not as flashy as the Falcons, but I do think there's a lot of good fantasy gold here to be mined.
No, for sure, man.
Almost everything you said, except I'm going to go ahead and be that guy. I'm worried about Travis Etienne this year, and it's not because of his talent. It's just because Kamara's there. If Kamara's there, we can't rely on him to be a running back 2. Like, I know he can be a running back 1 if given a full workload, but I'm not certain that's going to happen. They got running backs waiting in the wings behind Kamara even. Like, if Kamara gets moved before the season, I think I'll feel a lot better about this. But until that, like, Etienne for the future in Dynasty, absolutely want him on my team. But in redraft, I'm just, like, not stoked. I can get Bucky right after that. I can get Scadaboo and hope that he doesn't hurt his head, right after this. Like, I think there's better options there where I'm not, like, in a rush to grab Etienne. And I've been seeing him go a lot earlier than even where we're talking about him.
I disagree, but I respect your opinion. Travis Etienne, man. I mean, Kamara, what did he do last year? I know he was there. I know he's been awesome in his career, but what did he do? And now there is certainly some sort of smoke going on in New Orleans because he didn't report to training camp right away, and there was some, rumors going around that he didn't want to be there, and then he came out and said that he was going to play for the team. And then, I don't know. And then they give Etienne this massive contract. I mean, Kamara is awesome. I love him as a player. He's, been a buddy of mine in fantasy for a long time. He is. At this point in his career, I think he is better off going to the Broncos, who seem to have like a thing with the Saints where they just dump players that they don't want anymore, like Noah Fant, Devon Vele. So clearly he's still communicating with that front office. So if something were to happen and they were to get Kamara out of there, obviously I would feel better about Travis Etienne. But Travis Etienne's a monster in his own right. He's finished as a RB1 every year when given the role, when he's been healthy. And he just got paid a lot of money for a team that should be pretty dynamic. So even if he cedes some carries to Kamara, I don't think he's going to, finish worse than an RB1.
I just feel like the butter behind Etienne's game is that he gets essentially all the carries. I mean, he had 260 carries last year, and Tootin had 80.
I don't see why he wouldn't be getting that. Like, who on this roster is scaring you after Kamara, which I don't even think that's scary because they hate Kendra Miller. Audric Estime wasn't
it. Flash last year before he got injured, and Devin Neal also had some run. It wasn't super exciting, but it was still like that was more of like a as needed. But they do like Kendra Miller. They were giving him a lot, and he was actually doing pretty well with it too.
I just feel like if you like him, you don't go and sign a 4-year contract, $52 million for Etienne. Plus, all of his incentives are based around him getting to like 1,500 or 2,000 like scrimmage yards. So I do feel like that's the plan is for him to be the bell cow. We'll see. Maybe that's wrong. I don't think Kamara's on this roster.
We've gone from bad year, good year, bad year, good year. I just think this is the bad year, and then he has a good year once Kamara is officially vacated next year.
I am a believer in patterns, but I think I don't know.
I think the pattern changes, right? When you get onto a new team, that just resets the pattern.
I don't know. Etienne being my RB1 this season is totally cool with me. I will do that 8 out of 10 times.
That I can't agree with.
The only time I'm taking Etienne is if I somehow missed out on the first 15 running backs, and that maybe I guess says something in itself. There, like
15. I mean, that's fair. That is fair.
He's
going to be RB18, so you're not wrong. It's just
I mean, if
let's say you go Chase, AJ Brown, Etienne. That start right there is just money to me.
Yeah, if I miss out on all the running backs, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll get Etienne and Bucky to start off with. Like, that's both two good values right there. Sure, maybe, hopefully. You know what I mean? But there's question marks surrounding both of them. There's a reason he's at 18. You know what I mean? There's a reason he's not at 12, where he could very well end up.
Yeah, I don't know. At the same time, I'm just follow the money guy. I'm like, dude, they're just paying this guy out the ass. So
what about the Mike Williams money? You didn't follow that money.
Well, he never should have been in the NFL to receive that money. At a certain point, you got to give some guys money laundering. Yeah,
money laundering scheme.
They're money laundering. Mike Williams. Oh, that's funny. No, I just had a couple of notes. I mean, Tyler Shuck finished the end of his season, he was a top 10 QB like 5 times. That was awesome. Yeah. And now we had Jordan Tyson, who is an absolute demon. I really like this wide receiving core. So Tyler Shuck's the guy that, hell yeah, fire me up. Definitely a QB2 type person, but if you're in a super flex, I love it. And then Juwan Johnson, I just wanted to bring it up. I know they added Oscar Delp and Fant to the mix, but Juwan Johnson was tight end 8 last year. Obviously, Tyson's going to get some of that work, but that was pretty awesome of the season. I had Juwan Johnson as my tight end 1 because I kind of punted tight ends last year if I didn't get a top guy. So I really like Juwan Johnson. I think he's probably not going to get 8, but he could be a top 12 guy, top 13 guy, something around there.
Yeah. Also, no Taysom Hill anymore.
Yeah.
It's been, 10 years with Taysom Hill?
They put him out into pasture finally.
Technically, they could re-sign him, but at the moment, he's not there.
That's true. They also have Zach Wilson on this roster. Very interesting. Just a name that you forget in there. Well, after Rattler, so he's technically the third.
I'm just picturing I'm just picturing a guys night with Zach Wilson, Spencer Rattler, and Tyler Shuck like out in New Orleans on Bourbon Street. I'm just like, man, the amount of golf polos worn in that group.
There's a chance that Zach Wilson's younger than Tyler Shuck, by the way. See, his birthday is August 3rd, 1999, and Shuck's is September 28th, 1999. So it was by a month. But, that's Shuck. It was a rookie last season, and Zach Wilson's on his, 10th team. So,
Wasn't Zach Wilson the Cougar Hunter?
Mm-hmm.
That's the Zach Wilson. Yep. He's been bouncing around.
He's sweeping up on those Bourbon Street bachelorette parties, though.
Hey, that's not a bad place to hunt. All right, going to the defense. We got I will say, I'm not a particularly big fan of the Saints defense, but I kind of like the whole of the Saints defense. I do think Chase Young, often maligned. I do think he had a solid season last season. I don't think I would be taking him. Joe's Caden Ellis, I do feel like he's solid. That's probably a guy that you can pick up and feel pretty good about. Brian Breesy's been in the middle. And then they brought in Justin Reed and Julian Blackman. I feel like those are pretty good safeties to get onto. I feel like the safeties this year, I'm kind of in on a lot of them as I'm finding out as we're doing these previews. I know, and it's like, dude, I am not taking a safety anywhere near high. Like, there's such a good batch right now in the NFL that I'm not chasing anyone there. I do think the guys behind the starters, like, I think we're eventually going to see them because, like, they have Danny Stutzman, who I went to Oklahoma. I am a big fan of his game. I feel like eventually he's got to be the guy that is the starter here. And then
you sniped me on Danny Stutzman in the startup draft, and I'm very pissed off about it still.
I'm a big Stutzman guy. A big fan. They also have Tyree Wilson, the one-trick pony from the Raiders. They picked him up. Hey, they developed Chase Young into a serviceable guy. So what can they do with Tyree Wilson? I'm interested to see. He's only got one move, but that one move hit a lot in college. Not so far in the pros. But as a whole, I feel like this defense is good as a whole. I don't necessarily, for fantasy, think you're going to be like highly drafting any of these guys.
Dude, I love Chase Young this year.
They're going to be
just
rotating.
I mean, he played 12 games last year, but I mean, he was extremely productive, 10 sacks. Clearly they have a plan for him. I do think that Tyree Wilson could be improved upon, but I don't see him taking that job from him. Chase Young's just a guy that you can get in a defensive line spot so late after all of the guys have gone, because everyone's taking Crosby, Hutchinson, everything earlier. And you see a 10-sack guy sitting there, in the 30th round of your draft. You're like, oh, hell yeah, I'll take him there. But
but is he going to be a 10-sack guy ever again is the question. I think they're going to be rotating these guys. I actually love this edge room as like a Saints fan. Like if I was a Saints fan, I'd be like very
that's what I'm saying. As a whole,
this room, because the rotation's great. You got Cam Jordan playing his like 150th year, the 250-year anniversary of America, and then you got Carl Granderson, who's been doing it for years as well, and then Tyree and Chase Young. Like that's a great group, and they picked up Anthony Jennings from the Patriots, who's been pretty, spotty to say the least, but he's a big dude. So anyway, I love this edge room, but like I don't see myself. The Chase Young's really the only one I'd even be interested in, and that's super late.
10 sacks in 11 games. I mean, that's pretty sexy.
This is his
best. Again, it's good as a whole. The scheme's good. Like I like it overall. I don't know about fantasy wise, but
it's been 6 years and he finally did it. I'm not like overly like, oh yeah, he's going to repeat. It's hard to repeat as a 10-sack guy, especially if you
very true
have not been doing it.
If you get one a game and you play 17 games,
17 sacks.
The math is mathing.
I am happy that Chase Young's finally doing something worthwhile. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. I have him in a league where I'm very thin on defensive line, and he was my savior last year, so pretty happy about that.
By the way, Cam Jordan, drafted in 2011. Still doing it. Impressive.
Crazy.
All right. The over-under for the Saints is 7.5.
All right. The Saints have the Lions, the Ravens, the Raiders, the Falcons, the Vikings, the Giants, the Steelers over the pond. Bye week in week 8, Browns, Panthers, Chicago, Bengals, Green Bay, Carolina, Tampa Bay, Cardinals, Falcons, Buccaneers.
Okay. I'm probably right at 8, 7 or 8. I mean, I guess that's how it's going to be for every team, right?
Yeah.
Every team's going to be 7.
I think everyone's going to have 7 wins in this division.
I don't know. It's just all 7s. I'm probably going to go over because I think they're slightly better than, but at end of this year schedule is tough.
I'm going to go under, actually. I think that schedule was worse than the Falcons. At least, like,
really, I don't know. I feel like this one was slightly easier.
It's pretty much
doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense because like the Falcons they didn't win the division.
They did get the Browns. I don't think the Falcons got the Browns.
They got the Cardinals. They got the Giants, the Steelers, the Raiders.
Yeah, like that. Those are some easy layups.
I had the Titans in there, and I feel like I'm in.
I could see them beating Baltimore.
Oh, calm down.
I could see them beating Green Bay.
They could beat anyone.
Well, they're also going to split their division
any given Sunday, right?
Any given
They're also
I'm going over
at least 3 wins from the division. I feel like they're right at 8.
I'm going to be the bah humbug here. Sorry, Rue. Under.
Okay.
7
fair
wins.
Enough. It will get them in the quarterback discussion if they are under 7, I feel like. All right. Joe? Panthers.
What can we say about the Panthers, man? Couple of housekeeping notes. Dave Canales is handing play calling duties over to Brad Itzek. His first press conference, he highlighted the need for downfield passing, which is something that Bryce Young and this team do not do. So keep that in your mind. Also, the offensive line shuffled around a ton last year. They got Ike Ekwonu. He tore his patellar tendon in the NFC wildcard game. So we don't really know about his health. They added Rasheed Walker, but I don't know. He's not as good as Ekwonu. Drafted Monroe Freeling to shore up right tackle, and they took Sam Hecht, who is one of my favorite players, at center. This line's still a work in progress. So I don't think you can really say it's going to be better or worse than last year. We just hope we see consistency out of it. All for Bryce Young's sake, because this dude was 27th in the league in passing with 188 passing yards a game. He has averaged 180 for his entire career, so that was pretty much on par with what he's been doing. 30th in yards per attempt at like 6.2. I don't know the number in front of me, but it's not pretty. We did see his total yards, his touchdowns, and his completion percentage increase, but it was very minimal. Very minimal rushing upside. And again, he does not throw the ball downfield. So I just don't see Bryce Young sustaining many fantasy options outside of our guy, Tetairroa McMillan, who is currently going at wide receiver 18, 38th overall. He finishes wide receiver 16 last year. He's extremely talented. No one's doubting that. I just think Bryce Young, at least from what we've seen of Bryce Young this far, limits Tet from being a true wide receiver one in fantasy football. He's going to have big weeks. He's going to have down weeks, and you're just going to have to live with what you get. He's a great wide receiver too, which is what he's currently going as. So I would take him at that value. I'd be excited about it, but I've seen a lot of people hyping Ted up as being like a wide receiver one, finishing top 5. I just don't see it with the guy we have playing quarterback for him. We got Jalen Coker on this team, just signed a big deal, 41st highest paid wide receiver. He is currently going as wide receiver 55. He's definitely struggled with health his first 2 years, but he saw 40% of his starts he finished as a wide receiver 25 or better. So it's really not bad for a guy that you're getting that late. We've seen a connection with him and Bryce Young. He's had some big games. I don't see any consistency outside of Tet on this offense. They drafted Chris Brazel in the 3rd round. He's probably going to be mainly a deep threat guy his first year. He is going to be that guy that Itzeg was talking about to be the deep threat on this team. Don't really know what else he could be right away. I could see him surpassing Coker by the end of the year. He's extremely athletic, huge catch radius. But again, I'm not getting too excited about anyone else on this team. And then they have Xavier Legette, who they took in the 1st round 3 years ago. He's probably still going to play because he was a 1st-round pick. So he's not as horrible as people want him to be. They want him to make him out to be this really horrible wide receiver. He's fine. He's a role player in the NFL, and you have a pretty solid core with these guys. They also signed John Mechie. Again, he played with Bryce Young in college. He's intriguing in Dynasty. No one really has a true claim to that number 2 or number 3 spot, and I'm not burning anything major to acquire him, but there could be worse ads if that chemistry redevelops between the two of them. There, 43:07. Got to write my timestamps down. All right. The running back room with Bryce Young throwing 200 yards a game or less, 180 like we said. This team really has to have a strong run game. That's what got them to the playoffs last year. It was the run game, the defense. It was not Bryce Young. So we're going to start off with Chuba Hubbard. He's running back 27, 73rd overall. Last year, worst year as a pro, scored 1 touchdown, saw his yards per rush drop down to 3.8. They've been kind of high floors throughout his career. With Rico Dowdle gone, I'm buying back into Chuba Hubbard as a fantasy option, but at his current price, it's starting to get to the point where I am significantly worried about Jonathan Brooks completely taking 60, 70% of this work from him. So I don't mind drafting Chuba. It's just he might be the better value come August. So I would feel comfortable at that point. But Jonathan Brooks is currently going as RB 37, 105 overall. He's the better value as we speak. Again, in August, it's not going to be that way. Drafted in the 2nd round. He came into the league battling an ACL, and then 2 games, came back, looked pretty good, tore the same ACL the 2nd time. He's an absolute stud. He's a really good pass catcher, which is something this team desperately needs. And he has real he could be a league winner. Absolutely. 100%. I love Jonathan Brooks. I hope we can see it. It's fair to question his health and durability. Where he's currently being drafted, I'm fine. I love taking him where he's currently being drafted. When he starts sneaking into the 6th, 7th round, which is, I mean, we're already starting to see the Barry Bumps of the world come to Jonathan Brooks. I see him going in the 6th, 7th round come August. It's going to be something to think about because if the ACL, if he tears it again, or if he's not 100% with that, and we do see more Chuba Hubbard, you could be burning a pick at 6 and 7. Well, it was two ACLs on the same knee. I don't even know what physics and medical shit goes into that.
It compounds. It's 1.5 time.
Yeah, it seems like it. But, I mean, I don't know. I love Brooks. I just see him being in like a 6th-round pick come August. It's a little worrisome at that point. JT Sanders, I don't see how his skills don't transfer. He was injured. He is going into year 3. He could become a red zone asset to this team, so it's a guy to monitor. But they seem to like Mitchell Evans and Tommy Tremble, so there's not going to be a meaningful breakout coming from JT Sanders, but, you know, guy to monitor going in there. What do you guys think about the Panthers?
I'm starting to think that that was such a dumb move for Carolina to pay Chuba Hubbard. Like, they could be done with this by now, and we don't have to play this is he good, is he not good game, because you wouldn't have paid him, and then you would have had – maybe you would have just re-signed Dowdle because he was amazing as a free agent pickup last year. Or maybe you really do want to run it with Jonathan Brooks. Like, I'm not downing on Chuba Hubbard because he's been amazing for fantasy, but like I don't feel like he helps Carolina win. Like he does good himself, and I mean that might just be more about Carolina as a whole and not being able to win. But this is one of those teams that another team that I'm kind of a fan of, and I just want them to do good, but they never seem to do it.
One of the best stadiums to go to in the league, by the way.
Because it's
great time. It's cheap, and it's just an awesome – you can just walk right up to the game. There's hardly any traffic. It's beautiful.
Well, that goes along with the cheap tickets.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good vote of confidence there. This running back room is very confusing to me because by them not bringing someone in, it means they do have all the confidence in Brooks. But what is that based on? Like, what is that? Well, yeah, Hubbard, but like even him didn't do a whole lot. Like you needed – the yin and the yang last season for this running back room to work. So what are they basing this confidence on? Jonathan Brooks, he hasn't really run. What?
Chuba was not needed last year. Dowdle was amazing.
He wasn't. It was the Dowdle show.
Running back for like 3 weeks.
But what I'm just saying, like you're putting a lot of eggs in the Jonathan Brooks basket. Like not you all, but like the Panthers are. For a guy who hasn't run a meaningful amount of snaps since 2023. I mean, that was damn near 3 years ago. So
I do actually have too many Jonathan Brooks eggs in my basket.
Well, you have a lot of eggs, and the Panthers have a lot of eggs too, because like literally at this point, if he's not good, this team is not going to work. It's just not. Like the kind of voodoo they were pulling last year is not going to work again. Like it felt like watching the Panthers – a lot of these games, they were just winning by the skin of their teeth. When they housed the Rams that one time, shocking. Didn't see that coming. Still can't believe it happened, but it did. And I just don't see it going that way this year for them. I just don't. And while I still think they could win some games, I just like this team as a whole. I don't know. I'm nervous.
I actually think
I think
this team can
it.
do something because I think Bryce is going to take a step here, and I don't know if it's because of Brazel or who's going to really step up to be that Brazel, whatever. But it might just be Tet being that true elite top 10 guy. Like, and if he really does hit it, like we've seen it before, where a quarterback's been vaulted because of one elite wide receiver. I'm not saying that Tet is that guy, but I think that he's got to have learned. He's gotten better. It's seemingly like we've seen the last 2 years from Bryce. We've actually seen like some hope. Like I know it's not like they're not going to go win a Super Bowl or anything, but I could see it kind of bringing some fantasy relevance to him. Maybe as a good backup, or obviously a super flex option.
Yeah. I don't hate the Bryce Young thing. I could see him taking a step, especially if they do emphasize actually throwing the ball downfield. But this game manager bullshit that they've been having him do, and I don't know if it's Bryce or the play calling, but it's like he'll throw for like 420 one game, then he'll turn around and throw for 160. So it's like, how do you feel comfortable trotting him out there?
It's fair
on a weekly basis. And for the fantasy options, it's garbage, right? I mean, I don't know. I had that last year. The good was great, the bad was bad, and that's just kind of what it was. I just don't see, unless Bryce does take a monster step forward, which it is year 3, he could, or year 4 at this point. But yeah, I don't know. It's confusing.
So here is the question I'm leading to with Bryce Young. If he had a video game obsession, would we be all over, like, just over Bryce Young? Because we would assume that he would be too convinced in playing video games that he doesn't care about playing football. Is Kyler Murray, who everyone has been saying is too short to be the yada yada yada. We've heard it every year.
But I feel like there were other rumors.
Like, Bryce has never come close to what Kyler Murray was doing at the same exact age. Like, he hasn't even come close to that.
You're right. I think Kyler's been a way better quarterback, but at the end of the day, Kyler also was like, could have been better because he wasn't studying the playbook. The reason we heard these reports was because he was not showing up to meetings and not studying the playbook and didn't know what the hell he was supposed to be doing because he was playing Call of Duty. I don't think it had anything to do with, he plays video games or whatever. But like, we haven't heard any negativity out of Bryce Young other than he's been inconsistent. It's not been.
I guess the point is, if Kyler Murray hopped up on video games and Mountain Dew is way better than the quarterback that you have, maybe it's time to start looking in a different direction. And I feel like this year is the one chance Bryce Young's going to have, because Kyler Murray threw for 3,900 yards while getting a bunch of rushing touchdowns. We haven't seen anything from Bryce. And I just think if it's not this year, it may be time to move on. And
you're
Dynasty,
probably right.
I would be
selling. This is not who they drafted. Like, they did not draft the 19th best quarterback in the league. They drafted what they were hoping to be a top 5. You know, like, they drafted him 101 overall for a reason.
Look what they gave to the Bears.
They traded a lot of assets to get this guy, and it has been a colossal flop. Yes, 100%.
Thank you, Panthers fans. But I don't know. There is so Canales
are hurting, dude. Come on, the Panthers front office. You can thank.
Kick them while they're down, man. But I don't know. Canales turned over the play calling because he was overwhelmed with the responsibilities of managing the team and calling the plays. So possibly separating that and kind of letting someone else focus on what plays to call will be beneficial for this team. And hopefully the line is better this year. And we could see a Bryce Young breakout. Not a bad guy in Dynasty to throw a third rounder for.
If you need a for sure 1-year guy. I mean, he's going to get a chance somewhere else. But just like, I'm also starting to lose hope in Canales as well. But at the same time, look at the hand he's dealt. But it's kind of tough to hold him. But maybe some offensive coordinators should just stay offensive coordinators.
Yep. And then on the defensive side, we got 4 guys, really. It's Jalen Phillips, who is played healthy for the Eagles last year. The talent is there. If we could – it's there. It's absolutely – we saw it in Miami. We saw it mildly with the Eagles. He's a good defensive end target, probably for like a 2 or 3. Devin Lloyd is going to be a full-time LB1. I love to see it. I love to hear it. Go get some Devin Lloyd. He is going to return a ton of tackles for you this year. Derek Brown, probably the highest tackling defensive tackle in the league. So always a good option if you're within a defensive line. And then Trayvon Morig, box safety, lots of stuff, lots of good things. And then we got Nick Scourton, hopefully, who had 5 sacks last year and could see that increase this year. The defense is solid. I mean, that's what got them to the playoffs last year, and hopefully we can run it back with that.
Can I just go ahead and say that Jalen Phillips in like 2 years we're gonna be like, that was a stupid contract.
You really think so?
Probably.
What has he done?
I don't know.
He's been fine. Like, but to be paid as like a top 15 guy, I'm sorry. I know that contracts are just getting higher and higher. So it probably seems like he's like, but I looked it up and I was like, he got what, $33 million a year from this team. Like, sorry, your team is bad. You do not have $33 million to pay a hopeful edge rusher. Go get Trey Hendrickson. Go get Max Crosby. Like, if you want to pay someone and actually have an elite edge rusher, go get one. I don't understand the hype. Like, I liked him for Philly last year. He was fun. He made some impact plays, but like, it wasn't like Jalen Phillips is on the field, we got this sack. You know what I mean? Like, he was never a sure thing, and honestly, for fantasy, it was pretty inconsistent. Honestly,
I always felt like he had a better season than he did last year. It's wild that he had 8.5 sacks as his most that he's had.
That was his rookie year. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the thing was, last year he was getting like the fumbles and stuff. And he had a lot of like pass defended and stuff. So it was nice little extra points for IDP. But yeah, no, it was not like, I don't know where this contract came from. And I was shocked that the Eagles were even willing to pay somewhere close to this. So I'm glad they went with Grenard. I don't know how much I believe in him, but I believe in him more than Jalen Phillips.
Yeah, especially the price. The over-under for the Panthers, 7.5.
Someone in the NFC South really must have pissed off the schedule makers, dude. They got Bears, Falcons, Browns, Lions, week 5 bye week. Then they have Philly, Buccaneers, Packers, Broncos, Saints, Ravens, Buccaneers, Vikings, Saints, Bengals, Steelers, Seahawks, Falcons.
There's no way in hell. No.
Under.
Oh my God.
I mean, I never mind everything I said about Bryce Young. Take it back. They're drafting a new quarterback next year.
They got the Broncos and the Seahawks and
it's
the
like
Eagles.
all the best defenses.
Yeah. They play the Texans too. Like, might as well just get like all top.
I know.
Top
they played the Texans. I don't think they'd make it out of like 3 wins. God, that is rough.
Yeah, I unfortunately I like this team. I think they're going to be fun for fantasy. Like, I think like even Coker or Brazel or I'd love to say Jatavian Sanders, but one of these running backs, it'd be great for fantasy. It's unfortunate. Like, this team is just not going to win. Like, I don't think it has the right pieces in place.
Not with that schedule. You under 2, Joe? I guessed.
Yeah,
maybe?
I'm under.
Okay.
I was really excited going into this team,
sure.
and I was just like really let down after.
Well, that schedule
through the
is
Panthers.
Brutal. I mean, the start was pretty rough, and then it just kept getting worse.
I think I had like 2 wins by week 5, and I was like, okay, well, we just need a good stretch, and it's like the opposite.
I know. I think the Eagles were the first team after the bye, and it's like, well, that's welcome back. Welcome back to work, fellas.
I just want to know how every team in this division has ended up with just a ridiculously hard schedule.
Well, the good news is they all have bad schedules, so
now
really who can make it through.
The over-unders are making sense now. Like, they're just got a pretty rough draw.
This is like the one team that makes it to the playoffs with under a 500 record every year. Like, not this team, but this division.
True.
Like, one of the
This
like
division,
so.
yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, like,
well, they were
7.5,
8-8 last season.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty ridiculous. All right, finish this up.
Buccaneers time.
Let's get bucked up.
Fire the cannons.
I have some fireworks going off nearby, so I think that's similar to the cannons.
Open the sliding door so we can hear them.
This is their first season without Mike Evans since 2014, which is kind of really the only notable loss on the offensive side of the ball, other than Rashad White, which is like, yeah, sure, whatever. They did revamp the defense with some early picks: Ruben Bain, Josiah Trotter. They also picked up a few veteran defensive weapons, but we'll get into that in a bit. So Baker, let's talk about Baker. I'm shocked that the guy who's got Baker jerseys on his wall isn't talking about Baker, but I want to talk about him. He's one of those QBs that doesn't really need elite wide receivers. He's kind of had making a habit of getting guys like Rashard Higgins and Sterling Shepard looking like wide receiver 2s. But like, fortunately for him, even without Mike Evans, he still has plenty of star caliber players. I honestly wouldn't be surprised though at the end of the day if like one of these 5th, 6th string wide receivers get heavy target shares randomly. Like, you kind of just have to take the good with the bad. So if you do have one of these wide receivers in the future, you just got to know that Tez Johnson might just have a huge game, and you're never going to be able to start him. But it was fun while it lasted. We did kind of see Baker backslide a little bit last year. 2 top 10 finishes the two years prior. There was some wide receiver injuries, but I feel like he was just kind of off too. Like it wasn't the best play for him, and he had 3 elite wide receivers and like always had one of them on the field. So he could have made something work. It didn't kind of work out. I think we expect this closer back to the 2024 season where he was QB4. Currently going as QB19 in like the 10th round. I kind of just feel like this is an oversight all around. This is one of those like Staffordy, Tom Brady situations. Even as Baker finished last year at QB12, going at QB19 makes no sense. Like I don't know if this is just all Mike Evans drop off, but we have seen. We'll get into the wide receivers in a sec, but we've seen some elite wide receiver play from these 3. So, yeah, one of the best backup quarterbacks in fantasy at the end of the day. So go get him, no problem here. Let's just get into the wide receivers just because it is more tricky. So Mike Evans gone, Chris Godwin at wide receiver 29, and Emeka Egbuka at wide receiver 18. Egbuka's going more in like the 3rd, 4th round, and Godwin's kind of going in that like 8th, 9th round. I feel like something not talked about enough here, especially after hearing those rankings of like 39 and 94 for Egbuka to Godwin, is Egbuka's fall off last year. It wasn't quite as sharp as Odunze's, but it was brutal to fantasy managers. I feel like everyone thought they had this year's league winner, or last year's league winner, I should say. But that was mostly due to injury. Kind of, he didn't miss any time, so it's really weird. So it feels like he should have been good and been able to do something with it. I just don't know if that hamstring was ever right there. It should be all systems go, but I still feel like that price tag's a little high. Like I don't know, especially with Mike Evans out, we feel like okay, he's gonna go right back to doing it, but like, are we gonna see that? Like I feel like we're buying what he was weeks 1 through 5, and I don't know if we're gonna get that the whole time. And I just honestly feel like the Chris Godwin slander's crazy. Like wide receiver 29, like I'm willing to grab him at any price. So I will take him way later and not deal with the Egbuka concerns. Yes, he's younger and faster, and that could be fun. And Godwin's had injury concerns, but when he plays, even if he does play like that kind of like CMC role as a wide receiver, he gets 10, 15 points every time he plays. So could be the comeback of the year too. Who knows? And then Jalen McMillan is that other guy that like we're really thinking about. Not worried about his draft stock. He's a last pick in the draft if you need to. But 8 touchdowns in his rookie season. Billy made a fireball bet with me last year about him getting more touchdowns than Tet McMillan. Didn't work out because he got injured. But I think this is a great bench stash right here. This could actually be the like number 1 or 2 or 3 guy. Like I could see McMillan making a jump to be something here. Like I think everyone is so focused on Egbuka that they're forgetting about Godwin, and honestly, no one's thinking about Jalen McMillan. So I'll pause here. We'll take a break. I need to rest my vocal.
Let's discuss.
Let's discuss.
No, I mean the Egbuka thing's interesting because I mean when that injury happened last year, they were like, oh, he's going on IR, and then all of a sudden they were like, no, never mind, he's going to keep playing. So I really think they probably should just put him on IR. I mean, they had Mike Evans, Chris Godwin came back shortly after that too. They probably would have been okay. So, I mean, I've gotten some pretty good trade offers involving Egbuka, and I just really am not sure how I feel about it because on the one hand, he could absolutely go nuclear. I completely agree with you that Chris Godwin is not going away. Chris Godwin could be the best wide receiver out of the 2 of them this year easily. But I just really don't know how to handle Egbuka right now. And I know, our rankings are coming out soon and we're going to argue it then. I don't know where I'm going to have Egbuka because I've had him real high and I've been like, you know what? I don't know.
I thought this was going to be a more controversial take.
No. I had a trade offer. It was Carnell Tate for Egbuka, and it sat there forever. And I could not make a decision on it because I was like, man, I could see it going either way. But that's kind of where Egbuka is at, in my opinion. And he's being talked about more with like the George Pickenses and the guys up in that range. So I don't know.
That's the thing. I could also see him going up in the rankings right now.
Yeah, me too.
And I
think so too. I believe in Egbuka more for what he was at the beginning of last season than what he was at the end. I'm going to debut this one. We're going to try this out. The end of his season was an Egfluka.
I hate it.
I know, it's pretty bad. But I think that
I like it though.
His season.
All right, so here's my problem with Egbuka. He's going at like 40, 39, wherever you want to put him in. The wide receiver above him, like 5 picks ahead, Devontae Smith, taking him over Egbuka. the wide receiver 4 spots below him, Jameson Williams. I'm taking him over him. So like if I saw Egbuka slide, I could see him ending up on my team, but I don't think he's going to. I think people are all enamored with a guy who did go out and get 150 in his rookie year on a game. And sure, that was week 5, but he did it. So he can do
I
it
think
again.
without Mike Evans, his profile is going to be a lot better. I feel like I'm going to end up with an Egbuka on every damn team that I have now because I'm hearing what you guys are saying. I'm seeing the rankings, and I just, in my heart of hearts, feel like, well, this is the obvious Mike Evans replacement on this team for touchdowns.
Drafted
like
the replacement to one of those two. We didn't know who it was going to be.
Yeah,
first,
exactly. And Godwin can eat up all of the stuff in the low and then right at the chains. Like, that's fine. And that's his role, and it's what it's always going to be, and that's fine. But I just feel like Egbuka's role was kind of like a mishmash of what it was. And this year we're going to see what he's actually meant to be for the full season. I think they kind of, when he came out the gates as hot as he did, I think that kind of took the Bucs and all of us by surprise because we were just like, whoa, what is going on? Then when he kind of like slid back to rookie, to doing his rookie nonsense, it was like, oh, okay, well, maybe he's not real. I feel like we shouldn't put away what he did at the beginning because that's probably who he actually is, and it just kind of lost steam. Baker lost steam. The whole team lost steam.
The injury is the question mark to me, like how much that affected him because it was a hammy injury, so it was lingering, obviously, and he had multiple games with like double-digit targets with like 4 catches or 5 catches, and it's like those sure 1 or 2 of those might have been a throwaway by Baker, but like those were some missed balls at the end of the day. Like he should have been there, or he should have been on IR. I don't know. Apparently Tampa Bay does not know how to do their IR. So let's go ahead and talk about the guy who did go on IR.
Real quick, Josh.
On IR. Okay, go ahead.
I have one more thing to add. 158 targets vacated for this team. 50 of those are going to go to Kenneth Gainwell. I'm sure of it. But there's a lot up for grabs. We could see Godwin and Egbuka and McMillan all finish with usable seasons.
And Ted Hurst.
I was going to say, my problem is, and that's who I was going to
Kentucky's finest.
I did forget. Tez Johnson, their draft pick last year, and Ted Hurst, their draft pick this year, are going to see it roll. I don't know what that role looks like, but Baker will use all of the people involved. So, and I'm not saying Egbuka is going to be the one to vacate the field while they come in, but I'm just slightly worried, and like to grab a guy in the 3rd round or early 4th where he's going, like I'm like questioning it at all costs. It's like I'm taking Devontae over him well over. Like I'm assuming Devontae will also get a bump too, so I feel like that's not going to be a conversation. But I don't know, number 1 wide receiver on a team or the potential number 1 wide receiver on a team. I don't know. Big question for me. So anyway, let's talk about the guy who didn't go on IR that should have also. Bucky Irving, running back 19, coming in at about 53. Kenneth Gainwell, running back 39, 112, the new addition. This is somewhat controversial all around. The Bucky Gainwell backfield is going to be interesting all around. Bucky broke out his rookie year and in a crowded backfield, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see something similar. So I don't think as a community we have been more torn on like who's going to be the more productive back. There's the Gainwell supporters, there's the Bucky truthers, there's the Bucky haters. And I don't think you should. I think your hate's misdirected. I think you need to direct your hate at the front office, as we just talked about with Egbuka. We should be directing our hatred towards the front office for Bucky as well. Like, we should have put that man on IR, especially as a fantasy community. I know I had Bucky everywhere last year, so it sucked for me. But I think this is Bucky's backfield, unless there's an injury. I love Gainwell. What he did last year was impressive. That's the only sample size we've seen from him. He's had like 2 other good games throughout his career. I don't think it's going to be a huge role, but I do think it's going to be enough to worry someone, and that's why Bucky's slide to running back 19 in the draft is fine for me, because I feel like this is where if you don't draft a running back earlier, you need a running back 2 early-ish, mid round. You're filling up, kind of doing a wide receiver, running back type thing. Bucky fits into that mold really, really well as your running back 2. And I think he matches at least his value, if not better. Like, we could see a huge breakout for him. So Gainwell to me is actually like an actual great break glass in case of emergency. Overall, 10th round for a guy like that who has done something at least relatively recent. And let's just wrap up with Cade Otton, tight end 30. He's a great blocking tight end. Barring a bump in targets, I think he's just a waiver wire fill-in at best. So sadly. I love Cade Otton. I wish he was something. I don't know why they paid him so much money.
Hate it that they did that.
Hate it.
Any conversation on Bucky? I didn't know.
I can't trust Bucky this year, and I don't think I'm going to do it again. Like I did last year, and I have a keeper league with him in it where I'm getting him in the 7th round, and I'm probably just going to keep him in that because that price tag's crazy. But like short of him just completely like free falling down boards, I just don't think I can do it. Some players he's probably going to beat me in a couple weeks this season. I'm going to hurt be just like, well, that sucks. But like sometimes you just can't get around it. Like I can't do it again. I can't do it.
It's the Amari Cooper.
I don't trust the Bucs.
Amari Cooper effect, dude, where you're like, man, he had that big game, but like, is he gonna even play this week?
Yeah, exactly. I can't do it to myself.
I do it to myself every year. I'm always a fan of the Josh Gordons and the people who might not ever play. Judkins worked out for Judkins last year, but on to the defense. Unless Joe's got something.
No, I'm just gonna have a bunch of Kenneth Gainwell this year. That's,
I mean, it's free, so
yeah.
take 'em.
I think Chris Godwin and Kenneth Gainwell will be on most of my teams.
Both of them were like 9th and 10th round, dude. Like I'm totally game. I usually don't like grabbing people from the same team unless you got like a combo quarterback wide receiver. But I also kind of hate doing that still. But if you're grabbing them in the 9th round, it's kind of like if one of these guys works out, that's cool. If not, whatever, I'll flip them later. Into the defense, so Bane and Trotter, as I said, were drafted here. Gonna pretty much immediately slot in there. I absolutely love this linebacker room. I'm terrified of it fantasy-wise, though. So they went and got Alex Anzalone and Christian Roseboom to add to the rookie Josiah Trotter as well, to Dennis Servakia Dennis, who also did good. So we got 4 good linebackers. I don't know how it all works out. Maybe Josiah Trotter really sits for a little bit. Christian Roseboom's been great at least fantasy. I don't know if he's actually like tackle percentage wise good, but he swept up the tackles several times in Carolina and in Los Angeles. And then Kalijah Cansey, Bijan Robinson, not really like the most notable, edge rushers, but good for the defense. Vita Vea has always been doing it. Great for defensive tackle if you have it. Oh, sorry, Yaya Diaby. So the edge rushers are fun. I love Yaya Diaby. He's really one of those Jalen Phillips guys to me, where it's like I hope for it, but it's never been like consistent. Can be a great fill-in though at the very least. And then this might be one of the best secondaries, at least in this division. Antoine Winfield, best safety, one of those high guys you're going to get. Tyke Smith is actually my real target at safety because I feel like he was sweeping up last year when everyone was drafting Winfield in the 2nd round. You're getting Tyke Smith in like the 5th or 6th. Great. And then secondary, I mean, I'm not a cornerback guy, but Zion McCollum, Benjamin Morris, and Jacob Parrish are all serviceable in a way, just because this team's going to be getting passed on because Bucks score and then they play defense usually pretty poorly. But speaking of a defense that is trying to rebuild, did a good start. This is a great year start for a rebuild for them. They should at least have some success. It's not going to immediately vault into a top 20 defense by any means, but we should see some more defense finally from this team, or some defense for that matter.
You nailed it. Tyke Smith is my IDP darling.
Oh yeah, dude, he kills it, dude. I think he's playing that nickelback slot a lot too last year. He was just all over the field, doing everything. Yeah. Winfield's great, but like, dude, I hate drafting it. As Billy said, I'm gonna leave the early safeties for other people. I'm gonna go.
Yeah, well, Tyke Smith is early as hell now, which is sad.
Is he now? I haven't seen rankings this year, so I haven't really thought about that. But yeah, that might have died last year, but it was fun while it lasted.
Yeah, had him everywhere.
I mean, notes other than my Servakia Dennis stocks are just at an all-time low. I mean, they've been low.
I don't want any of these linebackers. Everyone was rushing to grab Josiah Trotter and startups and rookie drafts, and I'm just like, dude, what are you gonna do with him? Like, do you think he's really gonna make that much of an impact?
Premium taxi squad.
Yeah, for maybe next year.
Yeah,
I'm just excited to see Ruben Bain and his tiny arms. That's all I'm.
Yeah, I knew they got Anzalone, but I totally forgot they got Christian Roseboom too. I'm like, oh my god, dude, this team is just stacked at linebacker. It's fun, it's great. This would be a great like Madden build, Like you're like, oh, yeah, man, he's not doing it. I'm flopping him in there. Let's swap him around.
That's true. Okay, the over/under for the Buccaneers is 8.5.
All right, they have the Bengals, the Browns, the Vikings, the Packers, the Cowboys, the Steelers, the Panthers, the Falcons, and the Bears. Week 10 bye. Lions, Panthers, Rams, Ravens, Saints, Falcons. Oh, sorry, Chargers earlier, then the Rams, then the Saints. I almost said the Rams twice.
How did they get like a different draw than everyone else? The Chargers Rams. That's interesting.
Yeah, this is interesting. I have them going over. I'm a sucker, I guess. I don't know.
I just like Baker.
I agree. I think this is finally the year
Me
Baker
too.
like cements himself away from this shitty NFC South. I say shitty. It's obviously a good competition, but like 8 wins, man.
Well, last
I
year
think
it was he's an MVP candidate. Like it looked like they were going to be like one of the teams to beat for the season, but like he just wasn't. Didn't end up being what it needed to be.
No, I don't know if this defense really puts them over the top, but I think it gives them like the we're not letting up 40 points a game type stuff. So like we can actually win those close ones.
Well, the worst thing is when Baker would lead a game-winning thing, and then the defense would just immediately allow them to go right back down the field the other way, and it's like, okay, well that was fun while it lasted, but
yeah, as a team, I love the depth at wide receiver. I love the Gainwell signing for a team. Kenwell's a great team guy. I just feel like he's not a great fantasy guy. Like he's not like you want to start Kenneth Gainwell, but for a team he was really great, and in his support role he does what he needs to do. So yeah, I'll go over as well.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I think we have the Bucs winning this division. And then it kind of sounds like the Falcons or Saints are going to fight for second place. But to be honest, I feel like any of these teams could have a case to winning this division. I think this is going to be a very up in the air kind of thing going on.
Also, any team could crash and burn and be the worst team in the league.
That is true. If Baker goes down, the Bucs stink. The Falcons, it's not going to take much. Saints,
so I guess Tampa wouldn't be the worst team in the league, but I was thinking like could be the worst team in the division. Like I could see it being that parity, like if just things don't go right.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, next week we wrap up the division previews with the NFC West. We go out to where the Super Bowl favorites and the defending Super Bowl champions are, and they might not be on the same. Might not be the same team. So that'll be interesting to wrap it up. Plus, the worst team in the league is also in this division. So got a lot going on out there parity. Out west. Yeah, that is all over the place. All right, Joe, get us out of here.
Good night.
Tina. Oh, there's our